How's it going, everyone? I just wanted to make a short video on lowering the WRX or STI, um, and give you a nudge in whatever direction you need to go, depending on what you want to do with the car. Um, if you want to be just sitting in a parking lot looking good like this car, you're probably gonna be headed towards the coilover suspension, and just getting some wheels, putting some smaller tires on there just so you can tuck them up in there, rolling your fenders and lowering it down, which is cool. I'm not into it, but I think it looks good. The car looks pretty good. Um, so if you want your car to look like that, I mean, just go to a some forum that is all about like a stance forum or something, and you can see what people do. Like, they'll tell you people are proud of their setups. I mean, they'll talk about it, but whatever you want to do with your WRX or STI, um, just be aware of the consequences of it. Like this one, the geometry is going to be way off. It's probably not going to ride real well. It's probably not going to handle very well. It's probably not set up to. It doesn't have the appropriate fixes as far as fixing your geometry. Like it might have like something like a bump steer kit or something like that. But if you want your car just to look good, that's an option. If you're trying to do drag racing, here's a picture of one, some STI or WRX setup. You're obviously going to have a different, spring rate, different suspension, different way the weight shifts in the car. Because you're just set up to go in a straight line. That's all you care about. This one, the weight's going to the back wheel. You can see the tire rippling up, which, that's what it's about, is just going fast, straight line. Who cares about corners? If you're trying to do amateur sort of rally thing in a competition, you want some suspension that's going to travel a lot more. Like this is going to, I mean, it's going to cost a lot, but, you want something that articulates and has a lot of travel when you're going, getting airborne on some of these roads. Rallycross, you probably are going to run a strut, maybe something like a factory strut with maybe like aftermarket springs on there, just because it's cheaper. Rallycross or Time Attack, I'm not sure. This looks kind of more like Rallycross or autocross, my bad. This is going to be autocross, which you're going to probably want something stiffer like a coilover, which it kind of depends on what class you want to run. That's the same with any of these, drag racing, rallycross, autocross, anything like that. You want to look at what you want to do, what class you want to be in, what class you can be in, and that'll affect what you want. What you're going to spend your money on. If you want to run in a stock class, you're obviously not going to go get some expensive coilovers and slap a big turbo on your car. Like this one's going to be a stock class. Looks like he's got to be on struts and factory wheels. Autocross car like this, I mean a Time Attack car, my bad. They're going to have a constantly adjustable suspension. They're going to get their driver feedback, and they're going to change it, and there's no flex in that chassis, that's for sure. But they're going to have a completely different setup than a drag car or anything like that. Not that I wouldn't go fast in a straight line, it's that they're just not set up to do that. Just race car like this one, I mean, you're gonna have a different setup. Which if you're all about sitting pretty, this next one's my car for when I had coilovers. If that's all you care about, go get some coilovers and some wheels and just do it. I mean, if you're not concerned about going around corners, and this actually I thought handled fairly well. You could definitely tell that. I mean, it had some bump steer problems and stuff, which brings me to the next point of your suspension geometry. Whenever you lower the vehicle is going to change, which they make fixes for. This next picture is going to be a tie rod that's out of the geometry. Well, this one's in geometry, but it's that's actually a fix. That's a bump steer kit, a roll center kit is what they call it, which lowers your lower control arm back down to be level, kind of more level with the road when you lower your car, and keeps your tie rod level so you don't have that bump steer, which is when you hit a bump on the road and your suspension goes up and it actually pulls the toe in which makes your car unpredictable and kind of dangerous because you never know where it's going to go. Depending on which wheel hits a bump, whatever, it can be dangerous. How adjustable do you want your suspension to be? Do you want it to be, have complete control like a coilover setup? Do you want really, really wide wheels? You probably want a coilover setup because your struts are going to get in the way. Do you want to have complete control over your ride height? You don't want to have to get some lowering springs and just that's what it is. You probably want coilovers, which for good ones are going to cost a pretty good amount. $800, $900, $1,000 for some basic ones. Here's a picture of just struts versus coilovers as far as like the width. You can see why you'd want the coilovers for wider wheels like this next one. That's got some meaty tire on it. If you're looking for something like that, coilovers probably the way you want to go. If you're just looking for good handling, good alignment, and adjustability, coilovers is probably the best for. If you just wanted to take it to aftermarket performance shop that could align it for you and just say, hey, drop it off and be like, align this to an 06 STI and be done. You could do that with that. You could do corner balancing, which is what this picture is. That definitely is on the higher end of a street, any kind of street car. That car is probably only for track days or something. But always get on alignment by someone. You don't go to like Firestone or Goodyear. Go get alignment from an aftermarket, kind of performance Subaru shop that knows what they're doing, and they'll, you can tell them, hey, I take this, I drive it hard in the mountains, and they could say, oh, okay, we'll give you a little more camber and maybe put your toe out a little bit if don't drive it a whole lot around town, and they'll tell you what you need to do, but go figure it out what you want your car to do and go from there. Hit up some forums, do the research, and that's pretty much it. So have a good night and hope you got something out of this.